Every now and again, you come across an epic champion that far surpasses any expectation you have. A champion who truly fits in somewhere that you didn't think of until you built them, tested them, and found out the wonders that they behold. This isn't one of those times. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Matt Capper and this is another video on Raid Shadow Legends. Today we are going to look at Lady Etessa. She is a Sacred Order ally attack-based champion, a nuker, and a TLDR disappointment. But the show must go on. We must test her and show you whether or not she has any use at all in this game. So let's get right into it. Whiplash. Attacks one enemy. Has a 75, bookable to 100% chance of placing a stun debuff for one turn. Fiend Purge. Attacks one enemy with 2 random allies. Damage inflicted by this champion and any allies joining the attack will be increased by 20% if the target is under a fear, true fear, freeze, provoke, sleep, stun, or petrification debuff. Allies joining the attack use their default skill. Blessed Missiles. Attacks one enemy. Has a 40% chance of placing a block buffs debuff for 2 turns. All right, let's review how we have built out Lady Etessa. As you saw, she has the 3 skills available to her. We have her as a 2-star with Crushing Rend. Sure. She has the AoE. The big thing, the ally attack. The big thing with the ally attack is that if they're under fear, true fear, freeze, provoke, sleep, stun, or petrification, any allies joining the attack will be increased by 20%. That's our trigger. That's what we got to try to work for. She also has a single target stun with some decent multipliers and a good multiplier on her A1 with a block buff set of 40% chance. And we do have the Masteries to amplify that. So let's take a look at the Masteries here. Let me get out of the way. And this is kind of a nuking build, but I did give her War Master of Helm Smasher. So basically, we're just building her for as much damage as we can eke out of her, and some opportunity for that A1 to be to land, and just some accuracy stats, so we don't have to get as many accuracy stats in our actual build. So as far as her build, let's take a look at the numbers. I'll move back over the corner, and we'll click here. She is sitting at 5389 attack, at 211 speed, 258 crit damage, 248 accuracy. All the numbers she needs to be able to land her debuffs, land her stun, land her block debuffs or block buffs, and of course some damage to help kill things when she does the ally attack. We're going to take her into the Doom Tower with a little team that I've put together that might possibly be the opportunity to have her do anything for us. So let's head to the Doom Tower next. All right, time's just so good. I'm sneaking this in. I forgot to mention this, but we got to do damage testing, right? This is going to be a little bit interesting because her one ability is always going to bring allies, but we'll just have to see what her damage is. That's our goal, and we'll pick on the Tayas. So we'll start with the A2, which is a single target attack, and you see 94,000. I brought in Bloodfeather because she's also a single target attack. 74, and then I brought in Errol because he's got a single target attack. Boom, and then finally her single target attack. Boom, and let's see what happens on the single target A2s. 110, 176, 122, 85. So Etessa actually has a decently hard hitting A2. It also has a stun with it. As you can see, Bloodfeather is not in Savage, by the way, but she has a much better numbers. She's over 6,000 attack, 312 crit damage, but not in Savage. So I would think that apples to apples, they'd probably be close. But it's good to see that she's keeping up pretty close with Errol's damage on the A2. So it's not the worst A2 in the world to be able to do that much damage and do so with the stun. Obviously, she's not coming close to Alika's A2, which is one of the harder hitting epic single targets in the game, without conditions. It was always important to state that, without conditions. So now this is going to be tough, but we're going to just do this. We're going to see her damage. Did she even do damage? She did 73. It was so hard, they all just kind of popped up the same. So she did 73, which is the same as everyone's A2. That's her A3, and it happened to take Errol and Bloodfeather with her, which is probably the best way to make use of her, is just to have so many damaged champions with you. We'll replay it again. And then we'll do A1s. Just so you know, her damage on her A3 is similar to everyone else's A1. So it's not great damage. She does amplify if they're under a stun. It will amplify everyone else's damage like we'll show in the Doom Tower. But let's figure out A1s here. 53, 52, 67, 84, and she didn't get her second hit. So you can see that she doesn't have next level damage. She doesn't have that superstar damage in her A1. It's pretty basic with all basic. Everyone's A1 is around 3.5. That's why it makes it so special when you have those champions that are higher level or get double attacks or have something really significant on their A1. She really doesn't. The block buffs is okay, but it's single target. Okay. Well, now I think we're going from now to the Doom Tower, and then finally we're going to do a little clan boss run with her to see if she can even hold in those. So we'll have to re-gear for that. But let's head over to the Doom Tower. All right. Here we are, floor 71 of the Doom Tower. We are good. I was bringing in Alika, and I did it a bunch of times. The reality is it's very hard to get a consistent test here. So we're going to use 4. We're going to use a turn meter with decreased defense, and we're going to use a stun. And then we're going to use her ally attack to hopefully take Phoenix with her. And I want to test once while we ally attack with the stun and without the stun, just to confirm the 20% damage. It wouldn't be the first time that something didn't properly equate in this game. Let's get some stuns. Okay, so we got a stun on Blind Seer. Well, we could probably do either Blind Seer or Basili. The problem is I don't think he's going to be able to stun him consistently. So maybe we'll try Blind Seer. And there, we got him. He did 50-50. So 104,000, right? And she was stunned. Now we need her not to be. We should have went for the other one, to be honest with you. He did 104,000. Obviously, he killed prior. So let's replay this now. And now we just have to hope to God that he doesn't stun her again. I mean, I guess I could just not stun. Why am I such an idiot? So I'm just going to do this so that we don't give any extra points. And then take Phoenix. There we go. And there you can see. So definitely the 20% is there. I just wanted to confirm it. But there you do. He did 100,000. He did actually have 40% more. Not quite sure how that works. I guess 20% more per hit. So if he's hitting for 40, now he's hitting for 50. Which would have been 80, not 60, but I guess that hurts my head. So there you go. That's this is the only play. Her ally attack with that damage boost is really where she's going to come in handy, if anywhere. But I think I might now. I'm going to play a montage of the number of times I made tests here just to try to see if we could get some kind of consistent data point to prove that the damage works and everything. So I'll probably play that, and then we're going to I might even run her in Clan Boss. I'm just gonna try something, anything. I just want to see her succeed. So let's do Clan Boss. She's really good. Well, she's not really good. That's way overstated. She has the added advantage of being Force Affinity, so she's useful in those the myth air comps that require Eris to be shielded. So let's try that out with Lady Etessa. See if we can get some good numbers there, at least as to something you can use her in, and then we'll go to final thoughts. All right, so here's the results. Let me move slightly out of. Let me move over here. Lady Etessa 23.5. That's not bad. It definitely serviceable. I'm just comparing it to yesterday's video with Eothar at 43 million. Obviously, she's not hitting that level. Now, what is she doing to help the rest of the team? Well, it's tough to say with Draco because he's weak affinity, and even Seeker, you could put it away to RNG with him. He did about 2.7 million more in this comp today than against with Eothar in the lineup and that aura. But it's all RNG, right? It doesn't really normalize his weak hits. You could go on a run of either or. So I have to look at Demetha. I think Demetha is the perfect caveat there. And she did about 2 million more. So what you're probably going to get out of Etessa is a 2 million, assuming neutral affinity, is probably an average of about 2 million extra out of each champion, which is not bad. That's with obviously at my level with my gear. Now, interestingly enough, Eris actually did lower damage this time. Now, that could have just been, again, she got very poor RNG on the extra attacks. Her A1 isn't very as impactful as some. It seems like Demetha got a lot of picks, so maybe you're looking at 1.5. So you're looking at about 6 million extra total from the rest of the team. So, I mean, it's not the worst result. It's certainly not the best result. I've had a lot of better Force Affinity champions out there doing better damage. I really wish I would have seen Draco because I'm tuned into what he does on strong affinity and normal affinity, neutral affinity. So it was unfortunate that we had Force Affinity today for this test. But overall, you can see that she's definitely serviceable about there. I wouldn't even... I don't know if you'd put her for lead. You could probably put Draco lead. It doesn't really matter because neither are really going to help you that much in this particular scenario. But nonetheless, it gave you something. So why don't we go to final thoughts and then we'll talk about Lady Etessa. My final thoughts on Lady Etessa. Look, I got to be honest. First of all, I apologize. I'm sweating profusely. I just decided to cook meals for the next week while waiting for the clan boss to go, and so when it's warm out and you're cooking but nonetheless, Lady Etessa, hey, she looks really good. She's not an original champ. She was introduced into the game after release, and she does look a little better than the rest of the champions, and that's about what I can say good about her. Her kit is very poor. Her synergies are very poor. Her ally attack is embarrassing. There are uncommon that have similar attacks to her. Rares, I think. She doesn't do a whole lot. Now here's my gripe. That's fine. This isn't the killer for me. Attacks one enemy with 2 random allies. You can build around that, especially if you're going to try to use her in arena, for example. You just have to have a complement of champions that are all going to do good A1 damage. I mean, she's not good enough for the blender because you can't guarantee which champion is going to hit, but you can make it work, if you know what I mean. You can make that work for you. And the 20% extra damage is legitimate, and it's there, so if you have good A1 hitters, like an Alika on your team, it's definitely going to do work. The problem is, if you're going to make this kind of ability, where it's only 2 random allies, it's only a 20% if they have a Fear, True Fear, Freeze, Provoke, Sleep, Stun, Petrification. Then the rest of her kit has to really make that work because this is weak. Even for an epic. We have ally attack epic. Look at Ferric and the Fat. There are so many better epics than her at this ally attack ability. And certainly there's legendaries that are heads and tails, including 2 fusions. So I just think that you need more, and this isn't more. It hits hard, but it still isn't even the hardest hitting A2 out there for single target. There's much better single target hitters, and she's sitting at about 100 less attack than most of those single target hitters are. So if you look at Alika, who hits, ignores damage and does insane damage. Yes, this has a stun, but it's a single target stun, 100% chance, but you're really trying to thread the needle if you're using her stun to activate her own ability. And then finally, her A1. Her A1's fine. I think it should, again, but it should hit harder. It shouldn't just be fine when you have the rest of this kit. She's got no aura. She's got no passive. So there's nothing really above and beyond that makes this a worthwhile champion. 13, 215 HP, very low. Defense, better than average. Speed, average, but good. Like, it's not bad, right? Crit rate, crit damage, fines. You know, I just feel like where is she going to be more useful than everyone else? Now, that said, she does have a perfect role. For the Demetha, the Myth-Air comp, typically you have to shield Eris from the stun by using another Force Affinity champion when attacking the Spirit Affinity clan boss. And she is able to slot in there, do enough damage for it to matter, and she's able to protect Eris. So you could put her with Draco or with Fane or with any of these other champions in that comp, and you're gonna get value out of her that way, which I am thankful for. At least there's one area you might be able to use her. I like that fact because honestly, as much as I love seeing how much damage I can push out of the clan boss, the reality is you only need 70.2 million to get the top key in Ultra Nightmare. So if this allows you to do that, and it takes a champion that you're never going to use in any other scenario ever to do that, that is the perfect opportunity to use a champion like this. The stark reality is there's so many better champions at that spot than her, which is an unfortunate happenstance that she's just not built very well. How would I change her? Well, if you're gonna keep, I'm gonna go under the supposition that this won't change. You're gonna have 2 random allies. Then what you're gonna have to do is you have this conditional 20% increased damage. That conditional damage, first of all, it should be on a 3-turn cooldown because this is not that great of an ability to be on a 4-turn cooldown. But if you're gonna have this sort of thing here, then don't make her for damage. Make her a support. Give her 20k HP, and make this secondary ability support the first. What I mean by that is make this an AoE that stuns everyone for 1 turn. Or make it for a stun, a 75% chance to stun. Anyone who doesn't get stunned gets feared. Anything. You've got all these conditions here. Make her the conditions so you can run her A2 into her A3, and they should both be on a 3-turn cooldown so you can synergize. And then there you go. That's what I would do with her. I mean, I say don't make her an attack, but you could even keep her as an attack. It doesn't really matter. Just make this an AoE that has an AoE ability to activate this ability. Because otherwise, the champions that typically have the ability to fear, true fear, freeze, etc., 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 don't have great A1s. So you have to bring one of those champions in to help her do extra damage. Or you're just relying on the fact she's only going to do extra damage on one champion that she stunned in the previous round or in the previous set of turns. And it just seems janky. So to me, this needs to be an AoE. If you don't want stun, you can do a stun or fear type of thing. Give the enemy an opportunity to cleanse, to resist, all that. But that way, then you've got something here that in dungeons and waves that she's actually doing something helpful and useful for the team, because as it stands here, I would hardly recommend to use this champion anything other than that I have no one better in clan boss scenario, and just I would keep her in the vault. I wouldn't put gear on her. I wouldn't put books in her. I would just keep her in the vault as she stands right now. So those are my thoughts on Lady Etessa. She really is probably top 5 underwhelming champions I've ever built for this series. And it was bound to happen. I was bound to find another one I just truly didn't like. And if we're going to be honest here, I was kind of avoiding building her for a little while just because I thought, gosh, putting the 800 gem... Well, I ran Minotaur, so say 650 gems, and then putting in all the books in her, which, by the way, this 7 books here, 1 book there, 8, and then 12 total. But it's a bit of a faker because this one only has 1 ability, but this has all of them. And you probably want that 3-turn cooldown. Yeah, overall, I just don't. I think you'd have to really need her to build her, and I hope most of you don't need her. So those are my thoughts. What do you think? What do you think about Lady Etessa? Am I being hard on her, or is she truly as bad as I believe? I suspect you agree. But let me know in the comments down below. Also, keep in mind, if you want to support this channel, support the work I do here, getting epic builds out to you of champions that nobody else wants to build, let me know by joining the channel. It is an easy membership of $1.99, gets you in with custom emotes, and if you go to the $4.99 tier, you also get the opportunity for a private channel on my Discord that I prioritize for answering all your questions regarding this or any other champion and any other build. And as the tiers go up, I also give you monthly opportunities for me to build out things like dragon teams, dungeon teams, clan boss teams, and even hydra teams. And you even get a gear cleanse if you're willing to spend enough money. So please, if you feel that this is worth it, support the channel by joining us here at the Madhouse. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Please be kind, be safe. We'll see you in the next video.